Welcome back to 5 News. Now, next tonight, we are talking about kinship carers. That's grandparents, aunts, uncles and friends who step in to raise children who would otherwise be taken into care. There have been calls for more support for them for quite a long time. And now, a survey shared with us exclusively here at 5 News has revealed tens of thousands of kinship carers are having to quit their jobs to care for those children. Our chief correspondent, Tessa Chapman, has been to meet one grandmother in County Durham.
I bet you're all starving as well, are you?
Imagine taking in not one,
Corby, do you want to come and get yours?
not two,
Oscar,
not three,
Deshane, one of yous.
but 4 of your grandsons, raising them like your own because their parents can't.
I'm like the mum, the dad and the nana, all rolled into one.
Chrissy's son, the boy's dad, had a drug problem and social services stepped in.
The twins were 2.5. Oscar would have been about 7 and Deshane 5. And I was informed of the social worker, the twins will be adopted because they're under the age of 3 and the other 2 will go into care. They'll be fostered out. And I thought, nah, they're not like, no way.
What does family mean to you?
Oh, everything. Family's so important.
Bringing order to the boys' lives meant turning her own upside down, including leaving the job Chrissi loved.
Basically, I had to just resign because there was no support there whatsoever. And they said either 9 till 5 or we've got nothing for you.
And you've worked all your life?
I've worked since the age of 16. I've worked, paid me stamp and everything.
And the story she's telling me isn't unusual. In a survey shared exclusively with 5 News, the charity Family Rights Group talked to over 600 kinship carers. 2 in 5 had to give up work completely when taking on a child or children. A further 1 in 5 had to reduce their working hours. 3/4 said becoming a kinship carer had caused them financial hardship. The survey suggests tens of thousands of grandparents, aunts and uncles are having to give up work.
Often it's tragedy or trauma that's led to the children living with the kinship carer. And in that circumstance, then having to think, what am I going to do about work? How am I going to make that fit? And you've got no right to paid leave at that point.
Campaigners are calling for statutory paid leave for kinship carers, akin to adoption leave. It would have helped Chrissi, now relying on benefits for the first time in her life.
And you think that would have made a real difference
Absolutely.
to you, do you?
Because that adoption leave, you've got a year with pay to sort yourself out. I could have arranged childcare for the children, get the boys to get to know me first, explain to them, right, Nana has to go back to work.
Making ends meet is a constant concern. Without more support, Chrissi fears others like her won't step in and more kids will end up in care.
Well, as you can see, Tessa joins us in the studio. Nice to see you, Tessa. Chrissy's incredible, isn't she? But it's quite clear that it hasn't been an easy journey.
No, that's right. She's super Nana, isn't she? She's got so much energy and a huge amount of love to give. But she didn't expect to be relying on benefits after decades of work. She's found the cost of living crisis really hard, understandably. And she knows she's not even the worst off. She runs a support group locally, and she said some of their members have even been forced to turn to food banks.
So what's the government saying?
Well, they haven't answered specifically about this idea of paid leave, akin to adoption leave, but they have pointed out that in the autumn budget, they promised £44 million for kinship and foster carers. What they want to do is pilot a scheme where kinship carers would get an allowance, like a foster's allowance, because some people might be surprised here, currently they aren't entitled to that. There are record numbers of children in care, and the government wants to encourage more family members and friends to come forward to look after those children. What campaigners will say is, if that's the case, it's even more important they get the right support.
OK, Tessa, thank you for that update.